Tap your mic, dude. Hello! Welcome to the Guitar Hour once again, guys. Thank you for joining us. This is going to be a full-on gear fest. An unapologetic gear fest.
Yes.
But we're going to talk about a few other things as well. We've got some really cool stuff to show you that has been sent to us, actually. Not just for the Guitar Hour, actually, but I've got a Fractal FX8 that's been sent to me for review for Guitar Interactive magazine.
Can't quite see it. It's
down here. Well, you will be able to see it if I do this. There it is.
Swish.
Awesome. And then Dan has been desperate to try these Hamstead amps for a while, haven't you?
Yeah.
I saw these on Daniel Steinhardt from the Gig Rig. Used one on quite a few videos that he's done actually. That pedal show. And
James Bay uses one that's on that. It's a video with Daniel as well on that.
Yeah, well that was the other thing, because there's a load of UK, especially in the UK, because it's a British company, there's a load of UK...
Ben Poole uses one
Ben Poole, yeah, so they're session guys mostly, aren't they?
A lot of blues guys, the guy that plays with Jamiroquai, I think he uses one as well.
Although this particular amp, this is bizarre, belongs to, what's his name?
Mick Wilson?
Mick Wilson from 10cc.
So this amp has been toured. Apparently it was... I mean, we got this sort of sent to us, and we've got a nice... See this? Nice little handwritten sort of letter saying, you know, enjoy the amp, call us if you need us, sort of thing. Just quite a nice little touch. But it says the amp is kind of on loan in between touring, and it might be a little, you know, in a little bad shape, but
it's perfect.
There's not a scratch on it.
He actually wrote, it might be a bit duffed up or something, but I can't see anything. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. This is mostly so that Dan's got an excuse to try them out.
Yeah, well, the company is based in Cambridge, so it's a little bit far from Manchester to sort of go and try one. And they're a relatively new company, so they're still growing in terms of dealerships and stuff.
Super cool of them to send you the amp to try. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's customer service for you. So that's great. But there was a thing just before we came on air. Dan and I were doing our usual. We basically, if we've not mentioned this to you before, Dan and I do the Guitar Hour about 6 hours before the Guitar Hour and keep going
in
for
the
the
kitchen. We just
in my kitchen.
Strap a couple of GoPros to our heads and stand in the kitchen for some extra footage.
So we were chatting literally just before we'd gone live, but we hadn't actually, you know, enabled the mics and stuff and sent you guys the picture. And Dan was doing this thing. Now, there's this hybrid picking thing. Now, I am used to doing, and I'll explain what this is first, and then he can do his terrifying version. That it's just this idea that a particular technique that's only one note different to something that you're doing can totally screw you over. Just bizarre. So I was doing this. That kind of vibe.
What are you considering? Which one is the one for you?
So this is just before the beat. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Now that is basically, if you've never done that before, you can do it with any two notes. I'm going to do it with a perfect fifth between the G, the 7th fret of the G string and the 5th fret of the D string. And I'm going middle finger on the G, and then up, down with the pick. And of course he can do that straight away. The annoying thing is I can't do the one he's doing at all. And it's only one note difference. So if you do the one that you were doing.
So I'm thinking 3, 4. Which is down, middle. Hang on, it's hard when you slow it down.
I wouldn't say it and play it at the same time because they won't be able to hear it on the mic. So
yeah,
what
I'm doing down, middle, down,
down, middle, down, up.
Yeah.
So that's only one.
Essentially, imagine if you were alternate picking all of it. Like if you go, but instead of doing an upstroke on the next string, you're using your middle finger.
Which would probably be easier for me. I don't get as confused. The thing is, because I've learnt to do middle, up, down, middle, up, down. After the middle finger, I want to do an upstroke. And I can't switch it off, even though it's only one note different. That's disgusting. Is that in one of the solos you recorded?
No, it will be when I've like done it.
Just going to turn the mics up a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
So we just kind of thought that was interesting that a little technique like that can completely.
Well, I remember asking you if you've ever done. Let me think. Doing an up pick and then hybrid. I don't know why that feels horrific.
Yeah, so I do that all the time.
Or like if you're doing like.
Although for some reason today it doesn't feel very comfortable. If I do it followed by a downstroke, it feels perfectly normal. Oh no, that.
You know which one I mean? Like.
So there's an Andy Wood one that kind of goes. Hang on. Yeah, so he does. It's basically based around like an A minor pentatonic.
Right.
Just going. Now try doing that, but instead of going middle, down, up, down. Try going down, down. Replace all the downs with ups. So that would be an up.
And then down up, so.
Yeah, so you go. That's it. Yeah.
I don't
It's
like
horrific.
it. Don't like it.
Now my mic's clipping.
No, I don't like it. I feel like I have to kind of. I can't do it.
Yeah, it feels horrible. So it just shows you that just shifting one element of the effectively it's the same technique, but you're just reversing where the down and the upstroke goes.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
It must be something to do with the hand, because I feel like when I have to do an upstroke, I have to kind of turn a bit.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It does actually feel quite repulsive.
It's like being in
physically.
physio and I learn how to walk again. I can't go any faster than that. That's it.
No. So if you practice,
Right. Are you going?
Yeah, but I'm going middle up. How horrible does that feel?
If I do down, it's fine.
It's truly horrific. Oops, it's
What is
truly
that
horrendous.
about?
Just keeping an eye on the chat. I found hammer up. Oh no, hammer up down. Sequence easier.
That pattern's quite useful. I've got like. Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll be all night talking about this. Tell us about your recording, Dan, because you've been in the studio.
I have, yeah. I've done two 8-hour days doing the rhythm stuff. So we did drums, bass, guitar, and some piano. Although I think most of the piano stuff was kind of overdubbed, unless it was sort of all the way through. Because that was like MIDI. That's a bit more leeway with that, you know, if it fucks up.
Oh, you recorded MIDI for that?
Yeah, there's just a keyboard in the.
It makes life so much easier.
In the, what's it called, control room.
Yep.
So we did live drums, bass, and guitar all at once.
Do you know what you were tracking into software-wise?
I don't think. I think he's using Pro Tools.
Pro Tools, right? Okay.
So, yeah. So now that in itself is a bit not Pro Tools. The process was a little bit tough because the drummer and Pete on bass were both in the same room, because the bass was, I think it was going like sort of right to the desk for a little thing.
Okay.
So they're in the same room
with
so
headphones on.
Yeah,
I presume. Yeah.
So they've got a bit of interaction.
Yeah.
Because they're in the same room, but I'm off in some ISO booth on my own with it coming in my ear, and it's so hard. It makes it feel like your time feel is shocking.
Yep.
Because it's like there's this weird separation. There's like, it feels like a bit of guesswork, and you're in, you know, and you're trying to sort of go off the amp and get a level between that and like a little mixer and stuff like that.
You really have to know the stuff really well as well.
God, it's awful.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of tunes around like So I've got to be with like the snare drum. Yeah.
What key were you in there?
B flat.
That's why I've got brain fire. Let's not go down that road, but because I'll embarrass myself. But yeah, so the whole process is quite stressful in a way, isn't it? I think these, recording in a studio where you've got time pressures is pretty horrible.
Because you're putting out a product which essentially your name is on,
which you can only ever be.
Yeah, and
moderately.
Not even just for that sort of ego aspect of it, but for your own stuff. It's like, oh, you don't want to put some out and think, fucking hell, if I'd only had an extra hour that day, I could have sorted that out.
Yeah.
And I've put a couple of solos down, but I've still got about 6, I think. So
that's quite a lot. I mean, how many? So you've got. Is there a solo on every single
tunes.
tune? 13.
No. I've done all the steel though.
I've done all the steel.
I've done all the lap steel. That
nice.
That was that wasn't as bad.
But then you've got intonation issues as well that you maybe wouldn't hear on the day, but when you listen back to it, although I guess they can tune things a little bit.
Yeah, I think they've got little tricks, but I don't know. It's probably a lot more difficult to tune if you've got 2 notes.
And also, you were talking about earlier on about the trust involved with allowing, even if they know what they're doing, allowing somebody else to mic up an amp, and it wasn't your amp you were using either.
Yeah, as I took that twin in. I took the Fender twin in. Right.
Why the twin and not to start a political war about different brands, but why the twin and not the Victory?
Just because it was bigger, and I was like, for what I was going for, I was like, right, I'm going to take this in, and then maybe it might have a different option because it's 2 12s, whereas the Victory, I've just got the little 1 12. So I was thinking it might be more options, and he mic'd up each speaker. So
what did he mic them up with? Do you know?
SM58 and
SM58, right?
Some kind of ribbon mic.
Okay, that's the classic combination.
One that's a bit more harsh and one that's not.
Yeah, so it's normally SM57, but they're basically the same amp with the same mic with a different cap on the end.
I think it's.
Did it look like?
It's the one that they use for like snare drums and stuff.
Yep, I've got one somewhere.
Is that a 58?
Yeah, it's behind the keyboard. But yeah, an SM57.
57?
Yeah.
Sorry. 58 the vocal one?
Yeah.
Let's get them to mix up.
They're almost the same mic.
Yeah, so
right.
Yeah, use
classic
one
combination.
On there, and then like a sort of little ribbon mic as well.
And were you happy with the tone?
It sounded a lot. Obviously, close mic stuff always sounds different to when you're sat in a room with it. So I'm hoping it's going to sound, because I used the Dual Fusion for like a slight. I don't know, this fucking product placement. Other pedals are available,
They're not.
Drink Coca-Cola. Or not. Yeah, in the room it sounds all right, but then you think, I didn't want to put too much gain on because it's not that kind of band, but I wanted enough so that it just sort of, heats it up a little bit, if you will, makes it a little bit warmer, maybe compresses a little bit so it's not.
Check you out with all the technical terms.
What the fuck is happening?
Mr. Gear.
What is going on? Anyway, so put that on it. But then when you go in the room and hear it back, it just sounds like really sort of dry and harsh.
Yeah, because you've just been here. Where was the amp? Was it in the same room as you?
Yeah. So I was sat here, and I had the amp sort of behind me because I don't want to be facing it or anything. So it was kind of from here to maybe the door, maybe a little bit further.
Yeah, I mean the only way to know for sure is to put it in an ISO booth, another ISO booth, because you're already isolated. And listen to the mic'd up sound on some headphones.
It's like what they do on Lick Library, like all the cabs. Oh, fuck, all the cabs are in there.
Yep. So the cabs are in. When we film stuff at Lick Library, all the cabs are in an ISO booth, and we mic everything up. Like a wardrobe, yeah. And therefore, what you hear is a tiny bit of the amp, but through a huge fuck off wall and door, and then you're hearing the mic'd tone through the monitors.
Right.
At which point, what's great is you can add delay and reverb and stuff via the desk or whatever you're using, Logic if you're doing software monitoring, and it feels comfortable.
Yeah, I just hope it sounds good when it's finished and doesn't sound.
I'm sure it will,
because it is a bit.
There's a lot you can do post.
Yeah, you feel a bit sort of castrated when you're not really in control.
That's why I hate
it's not
it.
so much whether it's control. It's just we didn't really have no time to be precious really, and the kind of band it is. It's not really about being a guitar player as such. It's kind of like what's good for the. For the greater good.
Yeah, that's it. It's kind of tricky. And you're not, like you say, you're not the only guy there. So, they've all got other things to consider. Although, your instrument is particularly difficult to record well. The guitar is not easy to get. You've got to have, because there's, like I was saying to you before, there's a big difference between somebody who knows how to record guitars in a modern pop or rock context or metal. Then in that scenario where the sound is completely different. Although the ribbon mic probably is going to give a really nice warm sound, so that should be good. Okay, cool.
But there was pressures, like there was a live room, but we only had that for certain days. So all the sax had to be done because he was picking up the sax from like sort of like a room mic. I think he might have mic'd up close as well, just to get some attack or something. But
right.
So it was like, right, well, this day has to be sax day. So I was there.
Yeah, you've got no choice.
4 hours and didn't do anything. Well, I say didn't do anything. I was in the room, sort of being producer, like saying, "Can you play this a bit like this? Can you play this a bit like that?" Because musically, I'm sort of the other sort of deputy head, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like I said to you, it's. Oh, sorry guys, I think my mic clipped a little bit there. I would prefer to go in the studio, do all the rhythm parts, and then record the solos at home through the Axe FX or something. Just because.
I mean, I'm working on that. You know what I mean? I'm like,
please.
I'm slowly getting the means to kind of pull this kind of stuff off. You know, I'm getting into it. I never thought I would, and I'm making myself a little bit sick, but. You know, just bought a camera as well, which we might talk about.
Oh yeah, in fact,
where is that? Oh,
let's talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about that before we, because we did a stream recently. I can't remember which day, when it was, but it was a few streams ago, where we talked about the gear required to produce videos and audio demos and backing tracks
to keep up with what is now the standard.
Yeah,
which, regardless of your playing ability, is so high.
Yeah, like, visually and orally.
Before musically, like before any of that stuff, which is what used to be the deal. Just the tech and the standard is fucking massive. If you watch somebody that's like even just like a blogger, if you listen to the audio quality and the video quality,
absolutely,
it's huge.
Especially the video quality.
They're talking. That's all they're doing. They're just talking.
I mean, these days, so this is Panasonic GH2. I will stick it under the webcam in a second so you guys can see it properly. This camera was 200 quid, right? For the body?
221 with this lens.
That's ridiculous. 221 quid with the lens. This is, we filmed some video with this earlier on, and I'm just going to find it and then play it for you guys so you can see in a room that's reasonably well lit. It's not ridiculously well lit.
This feels like it's more lit than it was before.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just going to switch to my desktop. So this is the video that we shot with this very cheap... I wasn't ready for that. Thank you, Taxi2Ice, for joining the stream. This is the video that we shot earlier on, just using the really basic lens. This is a super basic lens that comes with the camera. Fibonacci. Oh, that looks good.
Right, so I'm getting a bit perverted now.
So, let me just switch back to the live view. That quality of footage is basically achieved by a £221 camera.
With a starter lens, which, everyone's like, sell that and get a real man's lens.
Yeah, so I've just bought the other day, which I just dropped, so hopefully it still works. This is the same camera, but with an Olympus 25mm lens on it. This is a very nice lens. And this, let me just check it does still work, because I just, as I say, just dropped it. Which it does, that's good. This lens gives you it gives you a sharper image, but it's a £300 lens. So, you've got the cost of the camera, which for me was £200 for the body, and then this £300 lens. However, these days, that quality of image that we had there and the depth of field is the other thing as well. So the way it's blurred out at certain points on the guitar, everybody's doing this these days. It's kind of an essential thing. You don't need to spend a lot of money, and
I mean, it's like 200 quid is no money.
No, God no.
Compared to the rest of the technology out there. I mean, how much was Oliver's camera that he was using that time in Budapest?
Yeah, a friend of ours uses a 5D Mark III. That's £2 worth of camera, £2.5 grand. Like my Canon 700D that's actually filming this right now, although don't judge the image quality because it's not capturing it in the normal way, was £700 or just under £700. So, that is a mega bargain, and that has better video quality than my Canon 700D.
Should mention that it's not the standard. You can sort of hack it and... Yeah,
we hacked it, or I hacked it. The only other thing really to mention is that there's a bit of a learning curve with these. This is not the same as just buying I nearly dropped yours then. This is, just put it down. This is not the same as buying a standard video camera, of which I do have a Canon video camera as well, but that's just not in the same ballpark image-wise. And you want to be filming at 24 frames per second. not 60. People will try and sell you cameras, oh, it does 60 frames per second. That's great for slow motion, but you want to be filming at 24 frames per second to get the best kind of cinematic look, and that's what we've set this up to do, basically. So I'm mega impressed with it, and that is a serious bargain. And as I say, this lens is not, I mean, it's a good lens, but it's not like a high-end lens, and it looks friggin' amazing.
Well, it was 200 quid without a lens.
For the
So
body.
if I would have just gone, right, I'll do that and save money to get a better lens. It's good for 21 quid for it to be instantly usable rather than you know, oh fuck, I've not got a lens, what I'm going to do.
Absolutely. It's phenomenal.
It's worth it, you know.
So, having said that, let's start looking at some of this gear. I know there's a lot of people out there who are, and I'm just going to switch this, move this over here so I can see what I'm doing. There's a lot of people out there who are really interested in this. There's a couple of new Fractal audio units, and as I say, this one has been sent to me by G66 in Germany to do a review for Guitar Interactive magazine. And obviously, because it's a complex product, they don't want to give me it 5 minutes before I go on, so, you know, in front of the cameras. So I've got it for a week and a half to kind of check out. And it's pretty fantastic, actually. And people are really interested in it because the Axe FX2, which is the unit this is based on, is really expensive. It's about £2.5 grand in the UK. Worth every penny because of its amazing effects and sheer versatility, you know, all the amp models and stuff, they sound fantastic. But it's a lot of money. And this unit is, now I don't know exactly how much it is, but it's just over £1 grand in the UK, I think, about 1,200, 1,300. I think it's $1,399, but because you've the import tax and VAT that you get charged over here, obviously because it's a US product, it is more expensive over here. But what you've got is basically 8 effects blocks that you can use at a time, of which almost all of the effects from the Axe effects are on there. With the exception of the amp models and cab models, obviously. It's the FX8. The AX8 is the other one they're producing, which is not out yet, which will have the amp models in as well. Slightly less CPU, slightly less DSP, but more than enough. I've been using the high quality reverbs and I've had no issues at all. Let me just show you the actual unit itself. There we go. So, oh, my webcam's got a little bit wonky. I'm going to introduce the OCD here and try and line it up. There we go. That's good enough. So, as you can see, basically we've got the screen. Now, a lot of people with Fractal, they moan about the fact that this is a monochrome screen from sort of 1980s. The reason Fractal do this, this is what Cliff Chase has said, basically, from Fractal, is that they spend the money on the components that make the sound better. And so in order for this unit to not cost an absolute bomb with touch screens and all sorts of crazy things, where it doesn't affect the sound quality, they've basically kept those things the same as the Axe FX2. So you've got a monochrome display, really easy to read, no problems at all. It's a little bit blown out on the camera here on the webcam, so it's actually a little bit easier to read in real life than it is here, but unfortunately we can't quite get the white balance and stuff and the exposure right. But as you can see, you've got 8 effects blocks. I've got a compressor, drive, tremolo, chorus, flanger, rotary, delay and reverb. Okay, so was my head in the way there? No, it can't have been, can it?
Somebody's just written the filth machine. I think they're referring to your pink Fibonacci behind me.
Oh, quite possibly. So you can basically have 8 blocks at a time, and within that, so if I just show you some of the effects, there's a compressor, let me go all the way back, 2 choruses, a compressor, 2 delays, 2 drives, enhancer, filter, 2 filters in fact, 2 flangers, a formant, shift, gate, expression, graphic EQ times 2, a mega tap delay, there's MIDI for routing any MIDI signals to any MIDI devices you have, multi-delay, 2 parametric EQs, 2 phasers, pitch, 2 relays for switching channels or any other features on existing amps, reverb times 2, ring modulation, volume and pan, and a wah times 2. So there's a lot in there. So I'm going to go back to my compressor. So you can have 8 in a row, and the idea is that you can switch these on and off like stomp boxes using these switches. They're assigned to each of these different switches. Now obviously I'm not going to go through every single feature because I want to show you how it sounds. But I've got this set up in stereo because why not? We might as well do it in stereo. I'm running through the Laney, just here, the Laney L20 2x12 combo. That's my left signal. My right signal is behind me. In actual fact, it's the other way around. And I'm running through a Port City Merino, which has very kind of been fixed by Dave Bronze today. There was a little dry joint in there and it's been fixed and it sounds ridiculous. And my total clean tone is this, no effects, which is clipping like crazy. I'll try and sort that out in a second. Let me me just make sure it's not going to clip too much. Bring the volume down on this mic. Okay, let's see what that's like. That's better. So that's the basic tone. Now I can just instantiate effects. Instantiate, why am I using that word? By just stomping on the relevant button. So for delay, for instance, I've got a gorgeous stereo tape delay. Which obviously, well, I say you're not hearing it in stereo. We do have a stereo mic here, but I think it's actually summed to mono for the purposes of making sure that we're not doing strange things audio-wise. And also, you're really hearing this mostly through the 2 room mics that Dan and I have got. So you're not really hearing it in stereo. So, because there's no amp sims in there and no cab sims, this is designed to be used with a normal amplifiers. And as I say, I've got it running in stereo. If I bring the reverb in, oh my God, that sounds pretty epic in the room. Bring the compressor in. Really, really beautiful. Stereo chorus. Woo! Straight from the 80s. And then tremolo. What the hell happened there? Rotary. Oh.
What's that with the chorus as well?
No, the modulation you're hearing is coming from the tape delay. So it's got a little bit of kind of modulation built in. Flanger. Coldplay.
I'll tell you a story about. I'll tell you a story about a flanger in a minute.
You're going to tell me a story about a flanger.
Flange.
So let me just demo the drive. This is definitely going to clip. So sorry guys if this clips a little bit. By the way, these are, what this is one patch. This is one patch that you can control. You can assign any effects to any of the 8 blocks, and then you can bring them in and out with the stomp box mode.
So could you essentially set up, say, 3 drives?
2 drives.
2. So you could have sort of like a, essentially like
right. Let me do that.
clean, crunch, and lead all in one patch, and then the only, because you obviously there's no point having wasted blocks if you're not going to use a flanger.
Absolutely. So you can assign whatever you want to the blocks. So I've assigned a drive to there now. Press enter. Now I've got 2 drives. They're both instantiated, but if you can stack drives together. Okay. So here I've got a tube screamer. Here's my clean tone again. Now I may need to really watch my levels here, but yep. Let me bring the mic down a little bit. Sorry guys, it's a bit of a balancing act between making this loud enough for our voices but quiet enough for the amps, because the mics are not picking up our voices as well as we'd like. So now Dan's mic is clipping. I'll just bring those down and bring them back up afterwards. So this is the drive through the clean amp. Oh, I can't make it work. I haven't got enough gain for that, but you could stack 2 together, so. For all those guys that saw Satch last night, there you go. So, having those 2 drives available gives you the option basically of getting really high gain sounds without the amp modelling. which is kind of cool. I really like this unit for two reasons. First of all, the effects of mic's back up. Yes, thank you, Dan. The effects are really high quality. Basically, as far as I'm aware, these are absolutely identical effects. I need to investigate a little bit more, but these are identical to the ones in the FX8, which if anybody has used the FX8, whether you like digital modeling or not, the effects are absolutely incredible. They're really amazing. The delays are some of the nicest I've ever used. So that's a great thing. The effects are really good. And the other thing is, it's quite small and lightweight and built really well. The actual sides of it are made from aircraft aluminium, which is super cool. Does it come
with a little handy bag or anything?
Well, it doesn't actually come with a little bag, but you can stick this. This is small enough, like
same size as any kind of standard kind of pedal board bag. Could you get that in a laptop bag?
Probably not. It's probably too tall. But for scale, here's a keyboard. Okay, it's a kind of like a Max. If you guys use Macs, that's a Mac style sized keyboard. So just your average keyboard. So it's about 3 of those in terms of size, and it will fit no problem in a suitcase, an overhead suitcase I'm talking about now for traveling.
Can I get that in a rucksack, I reckon?
Yep, easily, and it doesn't weigh that much. It's got a carrying handle on there, which is kind of cool. And the way it's designed to work is, I'll just talk a little bit about this and then we can sort of move on, because I don't want to make this totally about the FX8, but it does sound amazing. The way it's designed to work is you set up a patch. So this is patch A1, as you can see, and it's in scene 1. So scene 1 basically means that within each patch you can have 8 scenes, and the scenes basically are combinations of the effects within the patch. So in scene 1 here, I've got the compressor, the delay and the reverb in on, basically, as if they were stomp boxes on a pedal board. If I go to scene 2, press the scene button and go to scene 2, now I've got the 2 drives, the chorus, the flanger, the rotary, the delay and the reverb, which is far too much. So let's turn off the chorus and the rotary. Got brain failure, sorry guys. And now I've got 2 drives, chorus and flanger, which is just going to go crazy. So that now is stored as scene 2. If I go to scene 3, now everything's on, so I could just set up 1 drive, the chorus, and then turn off everything else.
The scenes are just combinations of what is on A1?
Yes, the scenes are combinations of patch A1, different effects combinations.
Right, okay, so it's not like a bank where you set in completely different ones every time you switch?
No, right. Absolutely. So if I go back to scene 1, I've got the same effects, but only the ones that were on scene 1 are available, are on, basically. Yeah. I can still switch effects on and off.
So if you're quite effect heavy, and every effect switch, if you were having stomp boxes, is a 3 pedal move.
Exactly, yeah.
Then you can change it to...
You just change to... So if I want to just have those on, I can just go straight to scene 1 or scene 3 or whatever.
And but I always keep the same effects. Scene, is that sort of loaded then so you can press it as it's coming up?
Yep.
Hit it.
So if I wanted to change preset, what I would do, because that's less common, I hold down that button.
Right.
And then I can go up and down the banks. So there's bank B, for instance, and then I select the preset that I want. Now you don't have to do it this way. You can set it up to do it a different way, but it kind of makes sense. So this is kind of, I need a whammy pedal for this, or an expression pedal, but it's a pitch shifting. My guitar's gone out of tune, sorry guys. So again, hold that down, go to bank C, for instance, patch 3, drive and a gate. Tones is gent. Oh my God.
Ah.
It's at this point, let me go for the tuner. And it's the same tuner as in the FX8, just without the really strange Magic 8 Ball kind of strobing thing.
When are you doing film a review with this? Is that what you said?
Next Wednesday.
Right. Are you going to nerd out and sort of A/B
yes.
between the FX and that, just to see?
Yeah, that I haven't done yet, but as far as I can tell, because I've had the FX2 for 2.5 years, and just so you know, this is, there's no, when we do these things, there's no sort of, nobody's asked us to do, no, like Fractal haven't asked me to do this.
There's no guy with a suit and a cigar stood outside
going, give us a good comment.
Holding the contract.
It's not that kind of deal. Basically, we only do things that we want to do on here, Dan and I. So this is something that I'm interested in. I may actually get one for myself. But, I bought my FX2, I wasn't given it or anything, and I use it every day and it's fantastic. So comparing it to this is kind of interesting. And the effects sound identical as far as I can tell, absolutely identical. So I don't know what this is, but Okay, that's not my kind of patch. That's obviously designed to go in front of a heavy amp.
Yeah.
But let's just go. Oops, that's the tuner again. Let's just go back down to bank A, back to my original patch. So you can store a ton of different patches on there. The other things to just really quickly mention are it's got solid state switches, which basically means that they're non-latching silent switches, and they feel really good when you use them. It's got a looper built in. So if I press that, this is something that the original FX8 had in, but you needed the floor unit in order to use it. So we can... I rushed a little bit. But obviously that allows... I was thinking you thought minor. And then you can go out the looper and... And then you've got...
Oh, what? So you can... What's happening now then?
Hang on. It's got a reverse mode and a half speed mode on there as well. And you can quantize the loops as well, which would have been useful for me because I suck using a looper. So,
That's pretty cool.
really, really cool unit. Tap tempo on there. It will switch channels on your amp for you as well. It's designed to be used with the 4 cable method, which basically means, you don't have to obviously, I'm just running straight into the front of my amps here, but you can use it, you can send effects into the front of the amp and then send effects into the effects loop of your amp as well. And it's actually designed, the circuitry is designed to minimize noise when you do that as well. So it's really, really interesting. I'm really into it. I think for me, traveling a lot, this would be a really cool unit to use. I can stick the dual fusion in the front or in the effects loop, and then, you know,
if you're
I'm good to
turning
go.
up to somewhere and you know there's going to be some sort of decent clean amp,
Yeah.
you know, or any sort of decent. I mean, if you turn up and there's any sort of half decent sort of valve amp that's got a decent clean sound that's not, 4 watts, it should be pretty
Absolutely.
good to go.
Yeah, let me really quickly just kind of set up something really kind of ambient so you can really hear. Oops, so you can really hear what's going on. I'm going to set up a big reverb and South Church. Yeah, let's do that. So again, the effects are really easy to edit because you've got these kind of dials along the bottom. So we've got. So I'll do this with a clean tone. Pretty lush, isn't it?
Nice. Doesn't get in the way. All the effects that kind of, I'm not even really an effects guy, but all the ones that like proper sort of turn me on are the least usable ones.
Of
Do you know
course.
what I mean? Like rotary speakers.
It's always
or
the
like
way.
Proper porno chorus.
Yeah,
you know?
rotary speakers are quite easy to use, but I mean, like
That
the
kind
porno.
of-
Again, if there's some really cool. This is an analog stereo chorus, but like there's a Japanese old Boss CE2.
Shimmer would be nice.
That is porno-tastic.
Oh man,
Again, I'm not
need
sure.
shoulder pads.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure how well these translate through Twitch or through the mics. But I mean that if I bring that multi-tap delay back in, is pure Holdsworth. It's crazy. Oh,
That's it. This is like some lethal weapon shit. That's it. Mel Gibson's having a breakdown. It's Lethal Weapon 1.
it's fun. Really, really fun. It sounds fantastic. Anyway, that's the FX8.
Someone's asked if there's a shimmer, but I imagine
Yeah, there is actually. Now, God knows if I can remember how to use it. Okay, hold on. Oh man, I don't use it in the Axe effects, but I think there is. Plex Shift, what's this? Oh, it's not even on. Sorry. That's not it, but that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool play.
As far as oh man, I wish I could find it. Okay, do you want to do a little introduction to this, and I'll see if I can find it?
Yeah. So I have been kind of itching to try one of these, just because I like the idea of kind of sort of a little, I say up and coming, but it's a little company that's, I think 2012 it says on the website they were formed. Now, whether that means that's when they officially went, right, now we're going to be an amp company, or they've probably been tinkering since before then. So yeah, I've spoken to James Hamstead over sort of Facebook, who is the son, I believe, and then Peter Hamstead is the sort of wise old builder man who phoned me up yesterday. Super nice guy, one of those guys you instantly talk to and you think, oh, I've known this guy forever. Yeah, so they sent us this. It's 20 watts. Switch we're down to 8, we're saying?
8, yeah, pentode and triode mode, basically.
Little switch on the back.
So in pentode mode it's 20 watts, and in triode mode it's 80.
8, yeah.
8, sorry, 80? Blimey, 8 watts. Did you say what it's, the tubes and stuff are? Do you want me to?
No, go on.
Okay, so basically this 20 watt amp the 20 watts come from 2 EL34s. So they're full size EL34s, not EL84s, so you've got all that kick from the bottom end and the grunt when you push the power tubes. It's got 3 12X7s or ECC83s in there. It's a single channel.
Yes.
But this is the 20 RT. Do they call it
I
RT?
think it's 20
plus
plus
RT.
RT.
And this is the combo.
Yeah, the RT is reverb tremolo. So I imagine they do a version that doesn't have that if you don't want that.
No, they do, absolutely. This is the combo version. This has got basically a 16R65 Celestion cream back speaker. I'm looking down here because there's different options actually. So there's a 20 watt combo. There's a 20 watt combo with the reverb and tremolo, which sound absolutely fantastic. We'll check those out actually. And then there's the head version as well. And then they do the Artist 20, the Artist 20 head has also the reverb and the tremolo built in. So the basic combo, the combo with the reverb and the trem, and also the head with the reverb and the trem if you want to use your own cabs. And they do cabs as well. So I'll go through the front layout and then I'll tweak and you can play. And what we're going to do is basically, again, you're hearing it through the room mics, so it's not ideal. But at least you get the sound of the amp in the room, and it sounds really fantastic. Just so you've seen what's on the front panel, I'm actually going to move the webcam so you can see it. So bear with me a second, guys. And then I'll just position this, and I think I've flipped the image as well, so bear with me. This is going to look horrible briefly. Yeah, it looks absolutely horrendous. So bear with me a second. I'm just going to switch this round. There we go. Okay, and position a little bit more pleasing to the eye. Okay, there we go. So, let's go through the front panel. So we've got basically a gain, as you'd expect. Then we've got bass and treble, so no mids. This is quite a mid-punchy amp actually, but the voice switch changes the mids frequencies. Hopefully you'll be able to hear. Then we've got the reverb section. We've got the depth and the tone of the reverb, and this switch here just switches the reverb on and off. Okay, really nice reverb, very musical. And then we've got the tremolo, which is a really beautiful circuit. Again, there's a switch here. Man, that's a cool cool trem. It's really warm and it's got a real nice sine wave. Really lush. nice. So I'll just switch both of those off for the minute, and then the master there as well. Now on the back, you've got a soft standby, so basically you turn the volume on, it's a soft standby, there's no standby switch, so you can never destroy your tubes. And there's a pentode and triode, so you can switch from 20 down to 8 watts. And then also there's an effects loop and multiple speaker outs as you'd expect from a modern amp. The effects loop appears to be series, there's no mix on in there or anything, so series effects loop. We're plugged into the low input, which has got a lower impedance basically. That's because they're fairly high output pickups, and also at this point we don't want to drive the amp too hard. So with this guitar we're kind of going for clean kind of jazz tones. Let me turn the reverb back on for you as well. I think my mic's clipping again. I mean, it's thick, really thick.
There's a lot of bass happening.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sound. So if we bring the gain down, bring the master up, and basically drop the bass out a little bit. There you go. It's got amazing dynamic response and projection. It's really impressive sounding. What's the feel like?
Feels good. It kind of feels like it's sort of right there with you. It doesn't unnecessarily bark when you don't expect it to.
Yeah, I can't stand amps that bark.
I mean, it'd be a really good amp for if you're sort of playing that kind of jazzy or sort of bluesy stuff, because there's that sort of spank there if you want it.
Well, I guess
and
that's where this comes in as well. So if you keep playing. It just seems to add even more punch in the mid range. So if we, just to show them the reverb a bit as well, just play some long notes. It's pretty impressive.
Oh.
What I don't know is whether that's a digital reverb or whether that's a spring reverb. Not that it matters, it sounds great. So, if I drop the gain down and bring the master up. try it. Let's try it with single coils, and we'll add some drive as well. Because what we did find is the volume levels that we can get to here with that particular guitar, the drives wouldn't. Oh, I don't even know how to describe it. We couldn't get the master volume high enough to really let them sing.
Yeah, it's an amp that
Just with
wants,
this guitar,
it wants to be abused. Basically, it wants to be loud.
Because as with all of these kind of amps, when you crank the master, oh my word, it blooms into something amazing. We can get a little bit more of it with the single coils because it's not pushing the front of the amp quite so hard. So we'll try this out for you. I'm going to plug into the high input. So let me just. Okay, so I'm going to plug into the high input. So at the moment we've got exactly what we had before, which is basically the gain is down and the master is up. Oh, let's bring loads of that reverb out. That's far too much. And again, that's really punchy and responsive. Yeah, we'll try it in a minute. It's really easy to play. Now, if we back down the master and bring up the gain, I don't know how loud this is going to get, guys. It's very kind of nasally. It's got this cool kind of.
It's got a honk.
I keep thinking I'm playing the Pink Erotic, so I'm looking for the switch just here. So
this is still 8. Still in the 8 watts.
Are we?
Right.
Oh my word! Really? Are we in triode or pentode?
Oh no, we're in pentode.
Right. So if we switch it off a second and switch it to pentode, no, triode.
Triode.
So we're in pentode, which is the 20 watt mode. We're going to switch it down to 8 watts. Because the master volume is so low here that you're not getting any of the bottom end kicking in. So, okay, now, okay, yeah. So, okay, my guitar's a little out of tune. So now you've got a lot more bottom end. Yeah. Wow. And then with single coils. Oh! How does it clean up as well? Very successfully. If I can play. Seriously impressive, really, really cool. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward amp, really.
Yeah,
It's
I
not a
think
huge
if
amount more to talk
you're
about.
a kind of if one of those guys that's kind of one amp sort of blues guy, you know, everything on the volume knob kind of player, or maybe, you know, just one overdrive pedal.
Let me also,
It's the nuts really for that.
just really quickly so they can hear it with effects. what I'm going to do is take the merino out the equation and plug this into the low input on there. So we need to drop the gain down and the master up. So this is now with the FX8 and this is running in stereo with the Laney. My guitar's a little bit out. Sorry guys, need new strings. That's pretty cool. If I drop the Laney out the equation, wow. Yes, so we can switch all that, yeah. And also I did find, in case anyone's still interested, the crystals.
Shimmer?
Yeah, they call it crystals on here. Or at least I think it's the same thing. So in theory, let's turn the gain off. I just have to figure out how to use it. I've never used it before. So pitch source, type crystals, page, voice shift 1. So in theory this is correct, but I could be wrong. That's kind of a little different. Let me bring the Laney back in because there's a possibility it's doing different. There you go.
McGuigan's out.
See you later, McGuigan.
In a bit, lad.
So, there we have it, guys. That's pretty much what we wanted to show you. Apart from one more thing, can you grab the other guitar? The same one as this one.
Okay.
Oh, we were going to try the telly through this as well, so we should do that as well.
Well, I mean, I was on about my own personal...
Oh, okay, that's cool. So we don't need to do that. I thought you meant for these guys.
Kindly been allowed to borrow this for maybe a couple of weeks. The update, so I'm going to put it through its paces.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. In terms of like customer service, just sending you one to use is absolutely amazing. I just wanted to show you these two guitars. I was out in Berlin doing a guitar show at the weekend and happened to come home with another one of these Tom Quayle Roadmaster guitars. Now they are quite different, so I don't know if you can kind of adjust the webcam so you can see the two different flames. But this is super cool. I'm trying to figure out how to move these for the webcam. Actually, Dan, if you pull the lever on the top of the, you see where the actual webcam is? Yeah. You see there's a lever on your left hand side.
Oh yeah.
Pull that off, and you should be able to lift it out.
And we are. Oh,
that's it. There we go. So this is a new webcam. It shouldn't fail. So you can see this one has got a slightly. This is the old one, yeah.
Well, I said the old one.
It's got no inlays, no dots, and also a slightly different flame top. But the hardware is identical. And then my volume pot is just on the side here. I need to re-screw it back on again. And then this one has got a slightly more pronounced flame. You can see that, depending again on the light. There we go. And then back to this one.
There's not much in it. Oh yeah.
They're slightly different. This one's more pronounced. And
then
it's got.
You can also it's got a bit more of a vertical.
Yeah.
That way, vertical grain going on.
Yeah, as well as the horizontal. Yeah.
A bit more horizontal on that one.
Cool top, and then the backs are different as well. So if I show you, so you can see on that one it's a darker stain. So So it's just cool to see the difference between. Hang on, it's a bit confusing doing this on the web. I don't know why I'm looking at the webcam.
Well, the one with no cover is the new one.
No, it's the old one. This one is the new one.
Even I'm getting confused. I'm in the same room.
This one is the new one.
Okay.
The one I'm wiggling. Yeah, the one without with the cover on. And I think. Oh no, they're identical. The pickups are identical. They sound ridiculously similar. I mean, obviously they sound really similar.
The consistency for considering everything is like they don't have any machines for these body shapes, do they?
No, these are all done by hand.
It's just done by hand and eye. So I remember asking Chubby about the necks, and I was like, "How do you know when it's the same profile as everything?" He's like, "I just use my eye."
Yeah, absolutely. Scary. But just to really quickly, if you grab that one a second, just to really quickly show you guys. Oh, don't worry about it. Just stick it on the floor, and I'll leave it like that, and I'll go back to the main cam. Nice view there of my chin. So this one, I'm just going to go back to my original preset here, so you guys can hear the clean tone. Yeah. So on the 4th position pickup, this is the new one. Welcome to the stream. Okay, if we swap over, this one's got older strings on it. But in terms of the bass tone, from the same pickup. They sound ridiculously similar. My volume pot is just here. I just need to screw that back on again. So just thought I'd show you that. It's kind of interesting. And the reason I got that one is basically because this it sounds really, really stupid. This one's got no fret dots on it.
Sounds like proper first world problems now.
Absolutely, ridiculously so. But we get a lot of people complaining at Lick Library that I don't have dots on the guitar. And we used to stick things to the instrument, but it damages the neck and it doesn't look very good. So this one is basically going to be the teaching guitar from now on with the dots on. So it's kind of interesting. So, did we have any questions we need to answer? Let me have a real quick look through. We've probably got well, not loads, but...
maybe this week I should be getting pictures of wood myself.
For your new guitar?
Yeah.
So the amp, someone asked what tubes does it have in it at the moment. It's got 3 12X7s and 2 EL34s in that. Yeah, no mid switch is interesting. Dan's mic technique is shocking today.
Sorry, boys and girls.
Hilarious.
Got bad posture, so I'm always leaning past it.
Is there a clon sound, tube screw and a Dumble sounding drive? Let me just really quickly show you that kind of thing. So the drives in the XFX, this is what a lot of people, sorry, not the XFX, the FX8, this is what a lot of people will be interested in. If I go across to the different drives, you can actually create your own overdrive pedals here if you wanted to, but obviously I can't reposition the camera on there, but or maybe Dan, I don't know if you could hold it on there, just so they can see the screen. So it's going to be a little bit wobbly, this guys, but not too much.
Yeah, if we do that, and then we can probably get...
Oh yeah, there we go, that'll do. That's absolutely fine, yeah, for sure. So you maybe can just about see the screen. I'm on a tube screen at the moment, but there's a rat distortion. And you have to adjust the levels obviously to suit. So the level's a bit low there. Great job, Indy. Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you so much. So that's the rat. There's loads of fuzz pedals actually. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. just going to take that volume knob off so it doesn't fall. So let me adjust the level here before I blow up the Hamstead. So my clean tone.
The event.
That's fairly terrifying. There's the Butler tube driver is on here. I won't go through them all, obviously, but super overdrive if you're into your Boss stuff. Old school Boss pedals that sounded really cool.
So have they kind of like gone for all the sort of
The classics.
not cliches as such, but like, you know, the classic stuff that you're going to pay through the teeth for if you want a real one?
Absolutely. So I mean, there's all the stuff that is utility as well. So there's a treble booster, which sounds phenomenal with this actually. I'll just go through a few more. Mid boost. Thank you for joining the stream. Then you've got your tube screamers, which work best with the bridge pickup. There's a Fat Rat and modded octave distortion.
Can you put the octave like?
Well, it's like a fuzz. It's like the old Jimi
fuzz
Hendrix kind of thing. You've got boosts in there, tape distortion. There's a BB preamp somewhere. There's a metal zone. BB preamp, so the exotic. More fuzzes, a fuzz face. I keep playing that when I start. I don't know why. Some of the, I forget the name of the company. So this is called the Eternal Love, based on some kind of lower gain, kind of very boutiquey overdrives.
There is a Love pedal, right?
Love pedal, thank you. Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. It's like the event.
The event.
The event.
And then some more of the kind of exotic stuff. So there's an ACB and an RCB.
Man, there's some great stuff in there.
And they respond to your volume control, volume changes really well.
So the thing is it really comes down to like what you want and really, you know, like how much of a purist you want to be with some of these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was a time where, you know, sort of digital stuff was not great, you know, and you could tell from a fucking mile off. And there will be people that go, oh well, I can tell, you know, doing the fucking Pepsi challenge with a rap pedal.
I'm playing it and I think it's ridiculous. You know, the feel is amazing. The tone is really great. I mean, bear in mind here, this is not the same equation that you get if people run through modelling amps and they say the feel's wrong.
Well, the argument usually is, you know, I don't want an Axe FX. I like amps.
Yeah.
Whereas this,
You have
you're
amps.
getting the, it's kind of getting
So you
the
can
best
use
of
your
both
BT
worlds,
amps,
really.
and
You know.
it works. You can make it function in true bypass if you want to. So if you don't need trails for effects and you just want it to work in true bypass mode, there's no digital conversion of your original signal at all. It remains in the analog world. Personally, I would rather have the trails because the converters in here are so good. That's where the money's gone, basically. The DSP chips and the converters, and then the bomb-proof, as they say in the manual construction. Good switches, stuff like that. So it really is phenomenal. I mean, I wish I could go through and show you all the effects, but you guys would probably, you wouldn't find it boring, I don't suppose, but we'd be on the air for hours.
Is there a figure for the amount of effects?
Yeah, I don't know what
I
it is.
know it.
They're not all listed in the manual.
I mean, once it gets to like, fucking hundreds, it's...
But I'll maybe just go through one more kind of, what can we use? All of the parameters. Oh, there's a phaser, so let's do that. All of the parameters can be modulated via. I wonder if I can just quickly show this actually.
I would say it's quite a good argument for, when people bring out these things and then you get some idiot that goes, well, not some idiot, but some guy always goes, yeah, but does it do this? And it seems to do most things, unless you're into some really weird shit and you're going to need like, some mad effect that is just not even usable, which is probably still in there.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, if I just go through now this, I'm not entirely sure how on this you change.
Oh, I didn't tell you my flanger story.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
Well, it's not necessarily my stories. I saw now, someone out there is probably going to know this. Is it Satellite Party? Is it the band that Nuno Betancourt was in with the guy from Jane's Addiction?
I have absolutely no idea.
It was kind of like a little, when everyone was doing these kind of little supergroup type things.
Right.
Like the one with Dave Grohl and Lemmy, I think, was it?
Okay.
Anyway, so they were playing at Download Festival a few years back. And I don't know what had happened. I don't know who was controlling it, but he had this kind of phaser or flanger kind of thing going. I think it was a phaser actually. And the effects level was so high you couldn't hear what he was playing. He's playing all this stuff, and all you hear is, and he's soloing and everything, and all you're hearing is for the entire gig.
Nice.
Like, I know there was a trend where guys were like having other people switching patches for them and stuff.
Yeah.
I know the guy from the guy from Journey.
Periphery do it.
Neil Sean.
Sean, yeah.
I know he was doing it for a little bit, and you'd see him like kick into a solo. You'd see him kind of go,
"What are you doing?"
But yeah, careful with your phasers, kids.
All I've done here is set up a phaser that's got a controller on the rate, so it should, in theory. Basically control any of the functions within the pedal, any of the parameters that have this feature. I don't think you guys can see it actually, but if I just go to adjust this, let me just adjust the max. Okay, here we go. I can hear it working now, sorry. So what it's doing is there's an LFO in there which is basically modulating the rate of the phaser. So even more control is available in this unit. It's really pretty remarkable, I've got to say. And you can plug expression pedals in there, foot switches and all sorts of things. So it's very, very, very cool indeed. So I guess that's pretty much everything.
Yeah, we should mention websites for stuff.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to really quickly just show the foot switch for the Hamstead as
Oh
well?
yeah. We didn't use it today, but there is a foot switch. See that? So you've got effects loop on and off here. And this thing is serious.
It's well built.
That's not a scratch. That's a cat hair. I'll move that.
Yeah, my cat is over there. Just you don't want to know what she's doing. It's not very nice.
Voice on the side, just a little voice switch there. It's kind of like a mid kick or kind of, it's a bit more up and mids actually. You're getting like a bit more of a top end as well.
Yep.
Reverb on and off, tremolo on and off, effects loop on and off.
Yep. Okay. So I think they're struggling to hear you because you're so far away from your mic.
Oh,
but
sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry, boys.
So that's
yeah, so that's hamsteadsoundworks.com. Hamstead Soundworks. Hamstead, not Hampstead.
Isn't it? Oh no, Hamstead. I wrote Hamstead in the stupid point. Sorry.
Hamstead Soundworks.
So one more thing I just want to say. Just let me. If you were to weigh up the value of for money against an analog board with MIDI switching, do you think the Axe-Fx board? Oh boy, this. If you buy all analog gear, or like say you bought 3 Strymon pedals, load of drive pedals, so on and so forth.
And like historically correct pedals as well. Like if you want like original, I mean, there's probably like Boss pedals in there that are sort of modelled from maybe like the good ones in the 80s or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. My pedal boards, I counted it up one day. I'm not going to tell you how much it cost, but it was obscene.
It's like easily 4 figures.
Yeah, and there are benefits to having that in that you can, switch pedals out and stuff, and analog pedals have a very unique sound, especially as far as drives go. And I know I would say that, but I genuinely believe that. But the effects in here are amazing. So if you need something compact for traveling with, I think it's ridiculously good value for money, to be honest. Even though it seems expensive, the effects are incredible. Really, what I would recommend you do is, if you can, is to try one. Either if you know anybody who's got one, or contact G66.
Do we know
if you're in Europe, or just Fractal Audio if you're in the UK? If you're in the US.
Do we know anywhere who's going to have one of these in the UK?
No, because only G66 sell them, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
You have to buy them from G66. You won't be able to. As far as I'm aware. Please correct me if I'm wrong on this. You can't walk into a store and buy one. It just doesn't happen. You won't find them on Anderton's, for instance, or PMT or whatever.
Got to go to the source.
You've got to go to the source. So, yeah, I mean, sound quality wise and price wise, this is pretty phenomenal, to be honest. But if you're one of the guys like me, I love analog pedals, and I've got loads and loads of them, and they have a completely unique vibe to them. And I can take just one with me, or I can take as many as I want. What I like to do is. Can you pass me that little pedal board down there, Dan? If you can get to it. One thing I like to do when I'm travelling is adjust some of you guys have probably seen the size of the boards I run sometimes. This is a little board that I constructed for going to Berlin.
Trade show board.
It's a trade show board, yeah. So it's got the Tumnus.
Trade show board.
The one Tumnus, it's got the dual fusion and the Eventide H9, and that's it, basically. That's all I need. It's obviously smaller than the FX8, but... that's a cool thing to be able to do with these kind of units, is to be able to put together a little board that you want, and they sound completely unique and they sound amazing.
And just a bit of comfort as well, isn't it? I mean, a lot of guys. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to a trade show out there, but playing at trade shows, just sitting down and trying a guitar, or the sound is, it's not great, to be fair.
Sorry,
usually
camera's giving me issues.
Usually, if there's an amp on a booth, it'll just be something that's quite clean. If they've got pedals there, that's great, but a lot of the times they don't. They just want you to plug in. And it's probably an amp that doesn't have reverb a lot of the time, and you've got all the noise of people. And imagine going into a guitar shop on a Saturday morning. That noise times 1,000, plus a lot of slap bass.
Absolutely. I mean, only you can decide. Me saying to you, no, you should buy an FX8, or no, you should buy an AX8, or no, you should buy all analog pedals is useless information. You've got to go and try these things out for yourself and see what you like. I could see myself using both very, very happily, depending on the scenario. It
depends what you need as well, man.
Well, this for recording as well is great.
Yeah.
And also, one thing this is very cool for is running stereo rigs. If you run stereo, which I've got here, it's seriously nice. Whereas a lot of kind of really good, say, chorus pedals, for example, or delay pedals are not necessarily going to be in stereo, so that's kind of cool. And the ability to save presets is kind of cool. But then you can do that with an analog board. If you get like the Gig Rig G2, or if you get
the switcher, the one control
stuff that I use, or if you use the Boss ES8,
which we've looked at
before, you can do the same thing. It's entirely up to you guys. Don't listen to anybody else if they try and tell you, no, you should get an FX8. It sounds way better.
There's a lot of bullshit talk, isn't there, when it comes to gear and guitar playing in general. So just
understand this thing.
What's best for you, man.
Sounds and plays and is awesome and is really, really easy to use. It does what it's supposed to do really, really, really well. You've got to decide whether it's for you or not. Okay. So, was there anything else? Da-da-da-da-da. I think that might be it, guys. So, one more thing, or two more things, really, really quick. This was a gear fest.
Have you seen, remember the Jackie Chan cartoon?
No.
Because I think it was his granddad in it, and he always used to go, one more thing.
Well, I keep thinking of things.
Or is that Columbo?
I've no idea. Yeah, it's Columbo.
Oh, okay.
Just as he's about to walk out the room, he goes one more thing and then accuses them, I think, doesn't he?
Oh.
I can't remember.
Anyway,
It's been
sorry.
too long.
Carry on.
A couple more things. First of all, this was a big gear fest. The next one of these that we do basically is going to be on. It's not going to be a gear related one. We're going to try and theme them a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be good to have, maybe not once a month, but if we are ever in possession for whatever reason, of a couple of pieces of gear that
will be interesting.
We're going to try and keep it current.
Yeah.
It's no use as like demoing bits of gear that have been around for hundreds of years,
No, that everyone knows that already.
Yeah, if there's anything new that I know you get a lot of things in preparation for reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've actually got some cool. I won't tell you what it is now, but I've got some cool stuff coming up towards NAMM time that I will be allowed to show you, because I've got to be careful around that time what I show you and what I don't. But the next one of these we do, it's going to be next week, probably on Thursday, because I'm down in London shooting for Lick Library on Wednesday. It depends whether you're available or not.
I am recording next Thursday.
All right, well, we'll figure out when it's going to be.
Till 6, so I'm a bit fucked.
The next guitar hour is basically going to be a how to further your career as a guitar player hour. And what we want you guys to do is to submit questions to us on the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/The Guitar Hour.
The Guitar Hour. Yeah.
Go on there and submit questions to us about your specific scenario, how you would, what can you do to further your career. We'll try and answer those. Anything to do with career related things, furthering your career.
Yeah, whether you're thinking about music college or whatever,
Absolutely.
or you've just come out of college.
Yeah,
or,
you don't have to be a professional guitar, obviously a professional guitar player already. It can be teaching, it can be, like Dan says, are you in college and you want some help kind of thinking about what some of the options are for the future. Talking to companies, developing your playing, any of those kind of things. So ideas of how you can develop your career basically and develop your your income as well as a guitar player. So we'll try and help you with that. It's going to be me, Dave and Dan. Dave Bronze is going to be back for that one. He had a rehearsal tonight, so he couldn't join us. Hi, Dave.
Hello, Dave.
The only other thing is, as usual, I have been investing in some little bits of gear to make the stream a little bit better. As I say, I've been saying a few times, I'm going to get a capture card, bought a better webcam today and stuff. If any of you do want to support the stream, and it's totally 100% optional, the Guitar Hour will always be free. We're never going to charge for it.
We are not getting any kind of
No one pays us any money.
No one pays us for this.
We don't get any of the
we don't
gear.
we don't own these things.
Don't get the impression that people send us this stuff and we just keep it. This is purely for review. The FX8 is for review. This was for Dan to try out. If he wanted this amp, he'd have to pay full price for it. There's no deals being done here. We do this out of our own desire, basically.
Yeah, this is Wayne's World sat in somebody's basement doing this shit because we want to.
So no one's paying us any money. We're not making any money. However, if you want to support the stream, there is a donation link underneath. You can click on that. Donate 50p, donate 1p, whatever. If you want to donate more, that's entirely up to you. But it really helps because we can put it back into the stream. It's not going in our pockets. It's just to help us kind of fund and make the stream better. Hopefully, as I've mentioned before, we want to get some guests on here at some point. Although getting them into my studio is going to be very difficult because what you're seeing here, as Mr. Laneguard found out when he was around last weekend, is that this is almost the extent of the room. There's not much more room to it. But also the capture card. We really want to increase the video quality for you, and we can do that with a capture card. So, thanks for watching, guys.
And mics as well. If we, another,
we need another
lapel mic.
So
that's my shocking mic technique.
Yeah, we need Dan to get Dan and Dave actually a lapel mic. And it all just makes the stream better. So, thanks for watching, guys. We hope you've enjoyed it.
Questions for next time.
Oh, I thought you were saying this questions.
No.
Questions for next time on facebook.com/The Guitar Hour, The Guitar Hour. Thanks for all our new followers, and we will see you next time, guys.